Welcome to an episode of Behind the Scenes Investigations, a special program in which Behind the Scenes investigates serious threats facing Somalia. I'm Sultan Mohammed, your host and co-producer here on Wararka Media alongside Suleiman Hashi. On this week's program, documentations collected by Wararka Media through reliable sources have found that a ship has been docked in Oman from the port town of Kismayo in the drought-ridden Jubaland state of Somalia, with an estimate of $20 million worth of coal on board. What is this ship? Where is it heading? And who are the parties involved? These are the topics on the program this evening. We hope you find this program very informative. Please like, share, and for similar content, do subscribe to Wararka Media. You can also follow Wararka TV, a second YouTube channel where you can follow other programs that might interest you, including Mahahi Sele, among others. Also, do follow myself, Sultan Mohammed, Suleiman Hashi, Engineer Yasin, and the wider Wararka Media team on our social media platforms that should appear on the screen. Let's get straight into it. Upon discovery that a ship allegedly from Kismayo, destined for Abu Dhabi, was docked at Oman, Wararka Media team began an investigation to follow and identify the route and purpose of this mysterious ship. The southern coastal city of Kismayo has been infamously associated with the illegal coal trade in the Juba regions that has cost direly for Somalia's environmental health. Many viewers, I presume, are very aware of the deforestation crisis in the southern state of Jubaland, which has witnessed the desertification of many areas within Somalia that was previously filled with greenery, life, and an ecosystem. Through reliable sources and diplomats, Wararka Media was able to compile a series of documentation that could shed light on the purpose and journey of this ship. Now, upon inspection by the Wararka Media team, we can confirm that the ship is named MV Fox and is registered in the United Arab Emirates, with ports of discharge being the cities of Fajura, Ras Al Khaimah, Khalifa Port, Abu Dhabi, and all of these ports are within the country of the UAE. Now, according to the certificate of clearance seen by the team, the master of the ship during this particular voyage is a Syrian national named Mohammed Besso. Interestingly, the ship is owned by a company named Oscar Dubai Shipping, which happens to be based in Honduras, Central America, a known destination for both money laundering and tax evasion, much like Panama, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard of Panama. Now, the documentation also provides information regarding the ship's cargo, which shed light on 4,425 megatons of charcoal in the form of 25 kilogram bags, let me be more clear on that, being on board the ship. Initially, the ship was reported to have traveled from Dubai to the country of Tanzania, before then allegedly making ways to the city of Richard Bays in South Africa, where it allegedly took the cargo of charcoal for it to be delivered to Abu Dhabi, according to the certification of clearance document seen by our team. However, via its investigations, Behind the Scenes and Wararka Media contacted the South African government, which confirmed that the ship had not docked in South Africa for more than a year, and this has led the investigation into a whole new scope, as the new question became, if the ship's certification of clearance is inaccurate, it must be forged. So who forged it and why? Now, the team has found that the ship in actuality left Tanzania and docked at the port city of Kismayo instead of the city of Richard Bays that it claims, sometime between the 6th and the 7th of January until the 12th, before departing back to its original location of the UAE. Aerial footage obtained by Wararka Media showcase the extent of movements in Kismayo during this vital period. Images show column after column of trucks with orange covering moving from destinations within and around Kismayo to the port at question. Now, it's highly coincidental that during the same period of this ship docking in Kismayo, there happens to be large-scale movements in the city of dozens of trucks with an unknown cargo. Now, upon contacting the Somali government regarding this shocking revelation, the government confirmed that it was aware of the ship docking at Kismayo, but the ship allegedly turned off its means of identification, including its radar system, once it left. This allowed the ship to travel through the Indian Ocean undetected until it reached Oman, with problems causing it to dock there temporarily. The Somali government has confirmed to Harford Media it has been in contact with Omani authorities and plans to send a team of investigators to inspect the ship and its cargo. The Somali mission at the UN has also confirmed that it has been working with the UN Somali Eritrea monitoring group to investigate this breach of charcoal sanctions imposed on Somalia by the United Nations Security Council, which in itself was recently extended. Now the question becomes, who is behind these shady dealings and why? Now let's take a look at the facts. Nearly 2 million trees are cut every year in trade, worth $120 million a year, according to the UN. The UN has also named the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Oman as the key purchasers of this illicit coal. Now, of this 120 million, at least 10 million is siphoned off by Al-Shabaab, according to the UN report, and also some sums being taken by rogue Amisom soldiers under the KDF banner that oversees security in Kismayo through Barbary. Some of the coal has even been transported to Kenya itself. Now, according to a multitude of reports released by various international organizations, the KDF heavily benefits from the illegal coal and sugar trade that takes place in Kismayo. In a report released by researcher Ben Rowlands for Journalists for Justice, it demonstrates the peak of the illegal trade in 2015. Now, he found that during this period, the KDF levied $2 tax on every bag of sugar and charcoal. He also found that the illegal trade brings in tens of millions of dollars per year for parties involved. Rowlands went so far as to say that the actions of the KDF directly benefit Al-Shabaab financially. Now, Harford Media has also found information on a key facilitator within this wider scheme, a Dubai-based Djiboutian, it is said, and there's reliable evidence that this man has been receiving these charcoal shipments on behalf of these traders and provided false cargo documentation, among other things, to cover up this illegal trade. Sources have also identified him as a key member of a criminal network with hubs in both Dubai and Kismayo, which is attempting to illegally monopolize exports from Somalia to the GCC countries. Now, last but not least, as I aforementioned, Al-Shabaab earns millions annually, according to UN reports on the illegal coal trade in Somalia, hence why it is currently blacklisted. While we do not have concrete evidence proving that Al-Shabaab has indirectly worked with Jubaland authorities, and one cannot claim that without direct evidence. However, the idea that coal is taken from areas controlled by Al-Shabaab and then peacefully taken to the port town of Kismayo indicates some sort of relationship, however indirect it might be, that enables the easier movement of cargo and coal in exchange for monetary gain, which explains why Al-Shabaab is making millions and millions of dollars. And we've seen, and we can actually see right now, some of the consequences of this. We've seen continuous bombings as of late from Al-Shabaab. And it's crazy to think this because for about a few months, Al-Shabaab remained kind of quiet with bombings sporadically. But as of this month and as of late, we've seen continuous and consecutive and consistent, actually, Al-Shabaab suicide bombing campaigns, not just in Mogadishu itself, which has kind of not seen the bombing campaign that it has for the last few years, but also across other towns, including Barawa, Marka, among other cities and towns. So clearly Al-Shabaab is benefiting financially from this deal and is using this financial gain to purchase weaponry to continue its war against the Somali people. Now, in conclusion, it is absolutely abhorrent that with recent UN figures estimating about 2.3 million people that are ravaged by serious water, food and pasture shortages, officials in Jubaland region openly engage in illicit activities that directly cause suffering faced by the very people that they govern. Unfortunately, for many Somali officials, selfish desire of wealth outweighs the value of the very people that they've been elected to govern. I want to remind people that public office is not a business. It is a sacrifice. It is a selfless act for your nation and people. It is a duty bestowed upon you, not just by the constitution that you swear to serve, but the people that you have elected you into that office. And it is trust between a politician and a citizen. It is a contract between the politician and the constitution. And the erosion of this trust, the breach of this contract, this social contract, results in the ultimate collapse of democracy when the citizen doesn't trust his leader. When a citizen doesn't trust his elected representative, then how can there be representative democracy? Who does the elected official represent is the question. And from this entire incident, one thing is clear. The UAE continues to purchase and engage in activities that directly result in the suffering of the Somali people. And the irony of this all is some of the arguments being pushed by some of the EU naval forces that are based in the coast of Somalia to tackle allegedly piracy and some of this illegal trade fail to come across this ship. And it's for the EU and the international naval force on the coast of Somalia to explain why this ship hasn't been seized or caught or even registered in any way or form by these so-called armies and navies that are protecting Somalia's coast. Now, back to the UAE. The purpose of the visit by the Prime Minister upon the invitation of the UAE to Dubai is not very clear. The PM's intention to reopen relations with a nation proven consistently to hinder Somali progress in multitude of ways in the middle of a vital election, to be clear, a vital election, also remains very, very unclear. Why would the Prime Minister travel to the UAE when we have a major election going on? Now, without conspiracies and allegations, what is clear, however, is that elections are nearly coming to a close by the end of this month. And it is the duty of the new government that is elected to investigate all these crimes committed against the Somali people over the last 2 to 3 years, 4 or 5 years.